Hi, this is Chris Border from down here at Y.E.S Fitness with certified exercise physiologist Angela Bosco. On our last video, we talked about improving the density of the muscle through some foam rolling and self-myofascial release techniques. The next step in allowing the hip to move correctly is to try to lengthen the muscle through some stretching so that it has a range of motion to be able to move the way we want it to move. So the first muscle group that we're going to stretch is going to be the hamstrings. So Angela's just going to put her left leg right up onto the table. She's going to make sure that her right toe is nice and straight and then her left toe is pointing right to the ceiling. And she's just going to lean forward and hold this stretch for about 30 seconds. We get a nice stretch down here along the back of her leg. She might even turn her toe in just a little bit to get the lateral portion of that hamstring group as well. After about 30 seconds, she's just going to stand right up, and then she's just going to take it to a different plane of motion through the frontal plane of motion. She's just going to rock. She's going to rock from side to side. She's going to rock her hips. Don't switch this rock. She's going to rock from side to side a little bit. Okay. Since we don't move just in a linear fashion, we're not going to just stretch in a linear fashion, meaning just one motion. So then from here, she's going to take it to a little bit of a twist. She's going to twist her hips in and out some to work in the transverse plane. So it becomes a multi-planar stretch in that hip musculature. So Angela's going to relax now. Now we're going to stretch the glute to the outside of the hip. So she's going to slide her left leg up onto the table. Again, her bottom foot's going to be nice and straight. Her knee's going to be right in line with her hip. And then she's just going to gently lean forward, supporting her upper body. She's going to get a stretch right here in this glute, out here in the piriformis muscle, some of the deep rotators of the hip joint. And from this, she's just going to rock a little bit from side to side. Again, just taking this into the frontal plane or another plane of motion that we don't normally stretch in. So you can relax. So the next muscle group we're going to stretch is a very important muscle group. It's the hip flexor stretch in the front of the thigh. We sit all day long, and these muscles get tight. As these muscles get tight, you're going to get the hips or the pelvis out of alignment, going to cause some low back pain. So it's a very important stretch here. She's going to come down onto one knee. She's going to be up nice and tall. She's going to make sure that her left butt cheek, her left glute is nice and tight. She's going to grab her ankle. Going to stay nice and tall, tighten that backside. She's going to feel some stretch all the way down the front of the thigh and into the hip flexor. She's going to stay there for about 30 seconds, and then she would switch sides. And then our final stretch for today is a stretch that's sometimes called the Goldie Strokes. We're going to stretch the inner thighs. So Angela's going to come down onto all four. She's going to bring her feet all the way together. She's going to get her knees as far out as possible. Then she's just going to gently sit back. She's going to hold this stretch 20, 30 seconds, getting some stretch on her inner thighs. And then she's going to just start to rock back and forth, get a little mobility to it. Nice and easy like that. Okay, you can relax. So there's 4 stretches that we're going to do to help all the musculature around the hip to have better length so that when we do go to work the muscle, or I should say when we do go to work the hip joint, it'll be able to move in a better range of motion. So check out our next video. We're going to talk about some exercises to improve the stability of the hip musculature.